Hello and welcome dear students to a series of grammar in use. In this video we are going to explore the past simple questions. You're requested to have a pen and a notepad handy so that we can take down notes and record the pointers. Let us dive in. The past simple. Now the questions in the past simple are formed using did. For past simple questions with be form are the words like am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, did, does. Since we are looking at past tense, so we are considering only was and were over here. Let us read this. For past simple questions with be form, the subject and the verb was and were will be swapped or they will interchange places. The first pointer that we have is for questions in the simple past is that use did before the base form of the verb to ask a question in the past simple. Let us look at the example and deduce what is said in the rule. They bought a new car. Now bought is in the statement, the main verb is in the past simple. The present is buy, past is bought. So it is in the past simple. They bought a new car. This is the statement that is given over here. Now how do we change this? First of all, let us see. They bought changes to buy. That means the base form. The remaining part of the sentence remains the same, and we add did before the subject as mentioned in the rule. So we see that we add the word did before the subject. The verb is changed to the base form, and then we add a question mark at the end, and that is how the question is formed. Did they buy a new car? Let us see the second example. She visited her parents last week. We add the word from the WH question tags who, and then we bring in the word did. Who did she visit? Visit is in the base form. Last week, that is the question, so you get an answer. She visited her parents last week. When you bring in the WH words, you get an open-ended question, so you can add any answer to the open-ended questions. You can pause at this moment, construct a sentence, and then construct a question so that you get a fair idea of how the questions are made using did and how questions are constructed using WH words and the word did. Let us proceed. Let us see the structure of this question. We have the did as the first word. We have the subject. Subject can be any noun or pronoun. The base form of the verb, that means the way the word occurs in the dictionary, that is the base form. Base form is always without an inflection like ing or ed, etc. And then we have the rest of the sentence. And since it's a question, we have a question mark. Let us read the question. Did they buy a new car? At this moment, you may construct a sentence on your own and record it in your notebook. Let us explore a few more examples. Did they have a good time? Did you read a book on the beach? Did Ray drink all the milk? Where did she meet her friends? Add the question word to make open-ended questions. When you add the WH words, you get any of the word as the answer. She met in the park, she met in school, etc. And make a note of it. When you have did, you use the base form of the verb. When did he go to the gym? Again, when you are adding a WH word, you will use the word did and then you use the subject. After that, you use the base form of the verb. Why did you buy so much food? WH word, you have did, and then you have the subject, and then you have the base form of the verb. At this point, you may pause and construct questions so that you get a fair idea of how to construct questions with did and how to construct questions with WH words followed by did, then subject and the base form of the verb. Let us proceed. The next pointer that we have in this video is the questions in the past simple with be form. Now be form, we have pointed out the words that we are using for past tense. We are using only was and were. So to make a question using the verb be in the past simple, swap the order of the subject with was and were. That means when you have the sentence structure before you, like for example, she was excited, just interchange the first two words, that is subject and the auxiliary, and make sure the auxiliary is placed first and the subject is placed after that, and you add a question mark at the end. That is how the question is formed. Was she excited is a question. Now, in this question, the verb and the subject swap places. We have already mentioned that, and the subject comes after the verb. So, that means the subject comes after the verb. The verb over here is the auxiliary. You have another sentence. You were excited. We interchanged you and were, with were becoming the question tag over here. You are followed by the subject you, and then the word excited and the question mark. The question that is to be read is, were you excited? At this point, you are requested to pause the video and construct two sentences, one with was and one with were. Let us proceed. Let us explore the structure with was and were. What pronoun takes the word was, and what pronouns take the word were? When we have the word was, the subjects that that agree with it are I, he, she, and it. So only the first person and these three third person pronouns will take the word was, and then the rest of the word with the question mark. Let us read one. Was I excited? Was he excited? Was she excited? Was it excited? Now, the words that take the pronouns that take were with it, or the pronoun that agree with the word were, are you, that is the second person pronoun, we, that is the first person pronoun but plural, and they, third person plural. Were you excited? Were we excited? Were they excited? At this moment, you may pause the video and construct sentences or the questions rather with the given pronoun, changing the word was and were. You may change the rest structure of the sentence also. Let us explore a few more examples. That is, was he good at playing tennis? Were they surprised by you? Why was she late for the party? Add question word to make open-ended question. I already mentioned when you add the WH words, you get an open-ended reply. What was that song called? What was that song called? Was there any cake at the party? Were we the last ones to arrive? What were the lectures about? Was the weather like? Now let us explore this little further and see how it is constructed. We have the auxiliary, the subject, and then it is followed by the rest of the sentence. Were they? Were is the auxiliary, then we have the subject, and we have the verb with ed. Were they surprised by you? Why was she late for the party? We have the question, WH question word, then we have the auxiliary, and then we have the subject. WH word, auxiliary, and then the rest part of the sentence. You may explore the structure and then you may pause the video and construct questions as per the given structures. With this, we have come to the end of the video. If you like the video, click on like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for paying attention.